I'm trying to get camp set up quick because sunset's coming soon. But I've been driving all day, and I am at this. This has got to be one of the most amazing campsites I've ever had in my life. Really, you can only get here down a four-wheel drive road and GPS coordinates. It's somewhere between Tamarindo and the Nicaraguan border, and I have this entire bay and beach to myself. Now, I had arrived here quite late in the day and didn't have much time before dark. So I set up my tent, prepped my kitchen, and headed back out onto the beach to watch the sun dip below the horizon. Throw up a little sausage here and slice up a cucumber. I know it's getting old, I'm getting sick of the same old stuff, but like I said, I want to keep it simple. Simple road meal again is cucumbers, chorizo, corn tortillas, imperial, salsa lozano. Somebody is already snooping at my camp. It's a coati. He's apparently kind of brazen. Get out of here, get. So, these aren't really dangerous, but I just don't want to get bit by one. But this thing is super aggressive. He's just not backing down. Now, I have to say, it was quite cool when this coati first showed up. These little guys are quite cute, and I loved having him around at first. But at some point, he went from being cute to just being a complete asshole. I spent nearly an hour shooing him away, only to have him continually come back. I couldn't eat my meal. I constantly had to watch my back. Now, this was his home, and yes, I was here. The last thing I wanted to do would have been to have hurt him. But it was coming to the point where I was going to have to grab a stick or a rock and get a little bit more aggressive. Eventually, the little asshole finally got the point and left. I grabbed another beer and stoked up the fire of palm fronds and driftwood I found on the beach. Finally got to chill out without fear of a coati lurking up behind me. Whew, this is by far the best campsite. This is amazing. Unfortunately, I think I can only do one night here because I got a flight back home on Sunday, and this place is too far for me to wake up and make it to the airport on Sunday. That's just not gonna work. So I think I gotta get back on the road tomorrow and go find another site somewhere. So I'll have moved every single night on this trip. But I'm fine with that. That's part of the experience. All right, everywhere I've gone in Costa Rica, the people here ask you to please pick up plastic on the beach. So I was walking on the beach earlier and found this bottle. It was just sitting there in the darkness, shining. So I picked it up, stuck it in my pocket, didn't think anything of it. I get back here and I discovered now there's some little clams on it. A beautiful night of silence and darkness on the beach. Later that evening, the tide came in, the surf grew bigger, and I dozed off to the sound of the Pacific waves. There are few things I love more than waking up on a beach. I've done it in quite a few places. It's never the same as when you're in a hotel or some kind of Airbnb or lodging. When you wake up in a tent or a hammock right on the beach in this wilderness, it's just an amazing experience. I never get enough of it.
It was, man, it was a beautiful night last night. A little bit of rain came in, but I slept so well. Tide came up later at night, and the waves got bigger. And man, at some point, I thought it was going to hit the truck. So a few times during the night, I hopped up and shined the flashlight. And of course, you know, high tide line is still like 80 feet away. But I've had that happen a number of times on beaches. It's just, you have some nightmares or dreams, you hear the waves and you think, you know, the water's right outside your tent, but it was all good. Beautiful night, super quiet. So I'm gonna do a little hiking this morning, going down the beach. I hear there's a river, enters the beach over there, and there's supposed to be some giant crocodiles that hang around here. There's also some caves down that way, which looked pretty cool. I'm gonna finish up my coffee, go do a little exploring, and see what I can find.
So I grabbed a water and pack and started hiking down the beach to see what the area had in store. And then, as always, the rains started to come, and they got harder and harder. All right, so my original plan was to hike and go look for the crocodiles and hang out here for a little bit, but it is starting to rain and the sky's not looking good. The risk down here in the rainy season is that rivers rise quickly. There can be flash flooding, things along those lines, and if that happens, I could easily be stranded back here. I have enough supplies. This is a beautiful place to be. I wouldn't mind being stranded here. Problem is, I got a flight home tomorrow, and if I have to tell my wife that I'm going to be here for a few more days, she's probably not going to be happy about that, and maybe no more adventures. So I'm going to be safe. I'm going to get out of here while I can, go up to the paved road, and then I'm going to figure out where I'm going next. So the rains came down harder. The puddles started growing bigger, and water from the jungle started accumulating on the road. Now, I'm not going to say this was the roughest drive. It was certainly nothing that, a four-wheel drive FJ Cruiser cannot handle. But this is Costa Rica, and the roads can quickly become impassable here. All right, so the sun is out and the rain stopped now. I've made it to the main roads, but not quite sure where I am. This is the small town of Matapalo. So probably just gonna sit here for a little bit and try to figure out where I'm gonna go next. All right, so just as I was talking about the risk of flash floods and bridges and roads washed out, I thought I was clear. I was on some paved highways. I'm headed to the town of Nicoya, and I come across this. A bridge has been washed out, and this is not looking good. Someone else came. They're like, no, we're not attempting this. The problem is, even if it's not that deep, this current is way too strong. I'm not even going to attempt to walk across this to test the water because you can easily die here. The guy who came said there's a bridge here and it's gone. So sounds cool to be, adventure hero, badass, we're gonna make it, but I'm careful in things like this. It's not worth the risk. Maybe you can't get through it, but I could get water in this car too and be seriously screwed. So gotta find another way around. I eventually made it back to the paved highways, where I hit yet more traffic jams, such as all these cows. But eventually, I started to make progress again. I stopped off for some arroz con pollo, then eventually hit back up the coast on the peninsula. I hit faster highways, eventually made it up near the Pan American Highway and started making progress again. I skirted the coast to my next destination of Playa Jaco. Now, Jaco is not a bad little town, but it's not quite a nature lover's place. I've been here many times over the years, so I pretty much just blew through it to the other side of town. I found myself a cozy little restaurant to camp behind. It was quite another odd experience, camping behind another bar and restaurant, but these things do have their benefits. I had access to the bar, bathrooms, beer, food, and of course, some cats in the local resident hall.